episode of Sorry Not Sorry. I am your host, Yashe.
And I am the other host, Hirzi. And today with us are the team Aljunied from PAP.
Hello.
Hello, guys. Nomination day had just passed,
Yep.
so we are interested to know how is it going for you guys. But maybe first, for those who have yet to familiarize themselves with team Aljunied from PAP, can we go round the block and find out who you guys are, a little bit of a fact as well.
Okay, hi, I'm Hui Yu. I've been in Aljunied for 11 years, so that's a fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Serving the ground as a community volunteer.
But just now you said you were in grassroots for even more years.
Oh, I was in Siglap before that, so altogether 25 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Daniel.
Sheeran.
Ayo. You were just waiting to pull the trigger on that one, right? I'm Daniel. I'm the branch chair for Paya Lebar for PAP. I'm also a candidate this time around. I've been, I guess, in the PAP for about 10 years. Also in grassroots for a while as well.
Continue.
Yeah. Hello, hi. My name is Jager. You can also call me Jager.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been in Yunus for about 1 year. I've been serving the party for 17 years.
Lao jiao.
Yeah, we knew each other from YP, you know, PAP.
I'm Adrian. I'm the branch chair for Bedok Reservoir Punggol, and I've been serving the party for about 15 years. Yes.
That's a long time.
Hi everyone, don't say it.
Okay.
I knew I was gonna say it. I could see at the tip of the lips coming out. Hi everyone, my name is Faisal bin Abdul Aziz. I'm a dentist by training, and I've been serving in Kaki Bukit for 10 years, and I'll be running in Aljunied GRC together with my wonderful teammates.
So welcome, guys, to Sorry Not Sorry. Ironically, I don't know if you guys know, you guys are sitting with two giants from Aljunied GRC themselves.
Yes.
Wow.
Resident from Lorong Asu and
Yes.
resident from Serangoon North.
Yes,
So
yes.
today is a little bit of getting to know and maybe even win our votes if you
Correct.
can. Because we know she is strongly PAP.
Yes,
I am what you call a swing voter.
Okay,
So
great.
today you have to convince me why your vote is in my hands. Hey, my vote is in your hands.
Yes, yes.
That bit. Okay, so we
What
have
will we do to convince you? Here's you.
first of all, maybe an Ed Sheeran number.
Oh my gosh.
We've been waiting for one too.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I honestly don't know much about Ed Sheeran. I've tried to pick up what's been going on in his career. He's apparently quite a famous guy.
Apparently.
Yeah,
Apparently.
yeah. Also a nice song. So I'm not ready to belt out any tunes, but
Not as famous as Daniel's dad.
oh,
So I read up on
that's
him.
true.
Oh, wow.
His dad is very famous.
Who is his dad, huh?
Make a guess what he does.
If his surname is Lim, the only famous Lim I know is Adrian Lim.
I'm a Liu.
Not Liu.
Liu.
Oh, Liu, Daniel. Oh,
Liu.
sorry, my bad. Cancel order. You're Liu. Okay, wait. I do not know any other
Jessica
famous
Liu.
Lim. Jessica Liu is the father. That's
the
dangerous.
What's going on?
Okay, wait, hold on.
I think it's unguessable lah. Just let him say lah.
Okay, what is it, sir?
It's okay lah. So my both my grandfather and my father, they were. Well, my grandfather, he was a pioneering artist in Singapore. His name is Liu Kang. So he's one of the four artists that invented this thing called the Balinese style of oil painting. And then my father, he's an architect. He was a civil servant for a long time. Also, his name is Liu. I think you can
I
figure
think
it out.
that's a bit underplaying it lah. Just say it properly lah.
You say lah.
Say it,
He's
say it.
like the architect of Singapore.
What did he design?
Whole of Singapore, the whole infrastructure, bro.
Yeah,
Even your Lorong Asu leaking house.
Maybe not.
Oh, later, newer generations.
No, my dad, he was for a while, he was the chief architect at HDB. So during his time when he worked there, he helped develop about 24 new towns in Singapore.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he built 500,000 units.
Do you have that? Is it like one of those like Game of Thrones where you have like the person like with the map on the like small houses? He has that at home.
Not at home, in the office lah.
Oh, okay.
Now it's on computer, so but yes, it's a bit like that.
Okay.
So many famous Liu, so little time. But I guess what we want to get to know is it's just been past nomination day. I don't know when you guys are watching this, but nomination day was yesterday. So we want to know everyone's sentiment. How excited are we? How nervous are we? How stressed are we? Anyone?
First, what is nomination? I don't even know what is nomination day.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So today you get, we submit our papers and cleared to be able to stand as candidates.
Right. So
Yeah.
before that, it was just guesses,
Yeah.
right? Because we
Yeah.
see all the news outlets. They are like, oh, this person could stand here, could, but we don't actually know until nomination.
So
day.
this time around, the party started to have press conferences over the last couple of weeks to say, this is where this person is going, this is where this person is going. But nothing is confirmed until nomination day, where we go in, we submit our papers. So even up to the last moment, as we saw yesterday, there can be changes.
Yeah.
But the printers of Singapore will already know who's nominated, yes? Because the posters are printed beforehand.
So they all sign NDAs.
well, yes.
Okay, but they do know. They do know, right?
So the best friends to know is the printers of Singapore.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
Ask that, hey, tell me.
No, but if they leak, then they cannot get our business anymore.
Yeah.
So they won't risk it.
Maybe
Don't
they
wait for 5
print
more years,
multiple-
Okay. Nomination day. Everyone's sentiments. How do we feel about running for Aljunied this year?
I think running for Aljunied is always difficult and challenging. We know that for a fact. But I'm very happy to be running together with my teammates here who are very dedicated and have a lot of conviction, and they have compassion for the community, and they also have the ability to bring people together. So we've got a strong team for Aljunied, and I'm really looking forward to fighting this election together with them. And I think there's a lot of things we can do for residents in Aljunied. So, but it's a tough fight nonetheless. But I hope over the next few days we will get to share our plans, our programs, what we can do for voters, how we can add value to your lives. And then hopefully they'll vote for us. That's the main thing.
Don't have to wait next 2 days. Like in this podcast later, we will ask you.
Sure.
Yes.
So
There you go.
yeah, we can have that. But anybody else have sentiments about Aljunied?
Is it tiring? What do you guys do on a typical day? Like since nomination day until polling day? What do you do every day?
Well, it's only been 1 day.
Okay.
So, and actually every GE is different. This is Hui is contested twice before, right?
that's
Or
my
once
second
before.
time,
Yeah, so I've been in GEs before, but only in the background. So every GE has seemed to be a bit different. 2015, it was the mood was a bit different. It was SG50. 2020 was COVID, so a lot of the traditional advertising had to go online. This year we're back to the old school style, but there's much more of a mix, right? So shows like this also play a very important role. It helps us to reach out to people like you guys who, I think in Aljunied there's 140,000 voters, so there's no way we can.
That's so many.
Yeah. I
I feel so insignificant now.
No, but every vote matters.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yes.
no one is insignificant. Every vote really counts, and especially for an area where like Aljunied, where we really need everyone's support. Every vote really matters.
Trying to get to my
But
vote.
That's
Absolutely.
We really have to go to every household.
Yeah.
So for the past few days, I guess since nomination till now, for that short span of probably for the past 24 hours, we've covered more than maybe 15 to 20 blocks.
Okay.
That's on top of what we do, in the morning. We can meet and greet the residents and things like that. So these are typically things that we do on the weekends, but we're going to crash everything into that particular week itself.
Right.
Every day of the
Yeah,
week.
Do you
every
guys
day.
just do it solo for your ward, or do you guys do it as a group for every ward?
So we do both. So as a team, we do walkabouts at the common areas where we feel that we can actually share with the people that this is the Aljunied GRC team. But we will also take the opportunity to go to our own divisions as well, because the objective is to reach as many voters as possible during these 9 days.
How successful are walkabouts as opposed to social media presence?
Okay, so maybe I answer that because it really depends on your area. So my area in Kaki Bukit, right, I have a largely elderly population who are, I think, not very. The digital penetration rate is very low, right? So social media, if you do things on social media, for my area itself, Kaki Bukit, maybe not many will know. But if you do traditional media, like your traditional media corp stuff, television, then there's better infiltration rate for that. But again, not everybody will watch the TV at the same time and all that kind of thing. So the groundwork still matters. It's still the most important thing for my ward, right? So maybe they can share.
I think for all wards, we all have different mixes of the housing types and different demographics. So the seniors generally not so in tune with podcasts like these. So we need to go face to face to meet them. Like your mom
that's
was
important.
trying to see
Speaking
her
of,
later.
what's ironic was Miss Hui this morning.
Miss Chan.
Miss
Hui,
Chan.
Hui.
Miss Chan Hui. Mali Chan.
Chan, okay.
Right before this podcast, as I was showering and getting ready to come here for work, I received a doorbell. I said, I'm just going to ignore. It's probably a Yakult lady. And
Why would
little
you
did I
ignore
know,
Yakult
when I
lady?
left my house was a pamphlet by the Aljunied team. So I know they did a
They
walkabout.
came.
And then I checked with them. Did one of you walk to my house
yeah.
today? And she said yes.
So that was my team, and
Yeah.
I'm scheduled to go this afternoon, right after this podcast. So that's when I'm going
Oh
to
my
see
God.
You
you.
won't
Yeah.
see me, you would see my mom, so
Yes.
convince her.
Yes.
My family is strongly. Anyway, next question.
Anyway, nobody came to my house. I don't know why. If they did, they would have seen what's going on.
Siasha had a question, what is nomination day? And then we all know polling day is where Singaporeans go to vote.
Yeah.
Now the question is, the window for elections in Singapore, the campaign is so short. Why are we one of the shortest campaign windows in the world? Are we rushing
Actually-
for something?
Actually, the official campaigning is 9 days, but for teams like us, right, we've been campaigning since the day we lost the last election. Right?
So determined, eh?
5 years.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, they
Yes.
walk the ground.
To be very
Yeah.
clear,
Yeah.
elections is not about just the 9 days,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Because you have so many voters and so many residents to engage. We need to be consistently on the ground, listening to their concerns, and to be able to deliver some of the requests that residents put forward as ideas and suggestions.
But you guys said you own like campaign for the past 5 years, but not in this district, right? It may not be.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So hence, we are not individuals. We have teams, activists. Yeah. So when I came to Eunos, I have a strong team that has always been walking the ground. It was never about individuals.
Yeah.
It was about the team that we put in to engage our residents.
I see. But isn't the work a little bit wasted after you get to know the residents there? They're like, oh, I really like you. You solve my problem. You in particular, not just the team.
Yeah.
I want to vote for you to come in as the MP, right? So isn't it very wasted that if you move to somewhere else?
If we,
My personal opinion is that we work for the Singapore. We work for the people, and that's why I moved from Bukit Panjang all the way to Eunos. So our purpose is to serve the people, to be in the interest of Singapore and Singaporeans. So hence, geography to us is secondary. People do have a preference on individual personalities, but having said that, our position has always been that we work for Singapore.
Yeah.
Okay, so every GRC has an anchor MP of sort, right? Which one is the team's anchor?
So I'm the Lao Jiao, right?
And they send you to my ward to win my swing vote, right?
I'm going to do my best. I
Does
think
it mean his
everyone.
vote's more important than mine since you are
Every
going
vote
there?
is
no, no, no,
important.
no, no, no.
Every vote is important.
Every vote
Yes.
counts. Yes.
Yes.
Right.
I see. Okay, just now you guys were talking about how immediately after you guys lost the previous election, you all started your groundwork already. See, to me as a resident, when election's over, any complaints I have, I would just go to my MP that I voted in, right?
Yeah.
So I would have never encountered any of you. In fact, if I can be honest, I had to research about a lot of you this week before this interview because most of my complaints I had just directed to Pritam and team. So Serangoon North. My question is, what is the groundwork like right after you lose an election? Because it takes a lot for you guys to penetrate presence.
yeah, so let me answer that because if you don't mind. Yeah, because when we do groundwork doesn't mean we wait for people to come to us. We will actively outreach to people, and there are many ways, right? It's either just a touch point meeting or already we just walk around, just say hi to everyone, just make yourself known. That's generally what you will do right after an election because it's been so intense. So the first thing we do, actually, we thank all our supporters. That's what we did last time. We thank our supporters. At the same time, then we just spend more time in the constituency, be visible. If they do have problems, it's true. They come to us. We can't solve your problems because we are not the incumbent or the MPs,
Yes.
right? But we can give advice, right? So, like for example, you had the issue with your house leaking, right? You can immediately call your MP. But if we happen to be there, you can say, "Hey, Faisal, can you help me? I have this issue. What do I do?" Then I will tell you. Well, you can speak to your MP. Maybe your MP can write to HDB or something like that. So, is that first touch point, the first interaction to give the advice? That's really how we engage people.
As volunteers on the ground, we are passionate about serving people, bringing people together as a community. So when people come up to us with problems, we are unable to write letters for them in our name. We don't have the mandate. So we have to say, I really want to try to help you, but okay, tell you what, you tell me your story. I try to see how else I can guide you through it. And maybe if they say, I don't know how to write letter, okay, we help write for you and send it for you. But it's still in the name of, for example, Hazy.
Yeah.
We'll write for you. And it's just basically our goodwill and we want to help as much
Wouldn't
as
it
we
be
can.
even more saucy if you put it under, "Hi, I am a Hui writing in for resident Hirzi. I, as the opposition MP, will feel pressure. Why they reach out to the other side
Yeah,
first?
yeah, yeah.
Tak
Wouldn't that
boleh
be-
lor, because we have to give them the respect lah.
see.
MP has to do the work,
Yeah.
right? We cannot take their job from them. So we hope that our residents will give us that job and we can do a better job, I hope, because we have the heart and we want to serve.
I don't know how many people out there are like watching are actually Aljunied residents, but Hyunji and I are, so clearly we're very invested in the future of Aljunied. Okay, so like I remember when I moved in, I voted for George Yeo.
Oh wow.
And then he went out. I was really very sad because I thought he was a really good MP. And then the past few years, I've been living under WP ward, and I'm not sure if you guys have seen my series of Instagram stories about my blog.
Sasha, everyone has seen your Instagram.
Yeah. Okay, be honest, you all were very happy about it, right?
You're gloating.
You see
No,
how
That shouldn't happen.
I never even went to Aljunied when that came out. That was quite a few years ago, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We're in different wards back then.
Yeah.
But Hui was there.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
No, but I don't think there's any reason to be happy
Yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's
estate not well
misfortune,
run, not well maintained, or any issues. It's not beneficial.
Like we
to
said, it's not a
Singapore.
contest.
Your answer,
Yeah.
Dr. Faisal.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, it's true.
It's not a contest.
No, but
Yes,
right.
guys, post more
honest
shit about them.
Yeah, that's
So an
honest
elected
truth.
MP has actually two large responsibilities. It's not about just speaking up for residents in Parliament, but also to be able to deliver a better managed town.
Yeah.
Right? You only have Parliament sittings 2 to 3 days in a month. You have another 27 over days in a month, and the role is for you to engage your residents, listen to your concerns, and look at some of the ideas and implement them so that you have better livability.
Yeah.
Okay, so in like after looking at Aljunied, looking at all your wards, I assume that you guys are very familiar with everything that's there now. What would you do that is different from the incumbent?
Well, I mean, for me, I understand I am the person
He's
who's
in
been-
charge of my blog, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very stressful.
That's why he's
Yeah.
You sure you still want to run? This is going to be a resident.
Every voter matters.
See?
Every voter is a good
I am
voter.
very reasonable. I'm very reasonable. Just don't have things break down
Yeah.
around me. I'm happy.
No, I think I think credit is due. I think generally the estate is relatively clean. My own experience, right, is I've worked in the built environment. I worked on public policies around the world related to livability. So I travel quite a bit. I go to a lot of developing and underdeveloped countries. And Singapore and Aljunied is far way better than all of these things. But at the same time, I think we also have to be cognizant about how our demographics are changing within the area. There's a very significant population of Aljunites who
Don't say it.
are aged over a certain number of years.
Sheila.
You're not old lah.
Yeah, no, you're not.
You're the minorities.
No, that's still young.
Yes.
No, come on.
Okay.
So from a livability perspective, I have noticed and I've seen that it is harder for people to get around, and there is barrier-free access in our town, but it could be improved. Like a lot of the implementations, like the ramps, maybe they're too steep now. Maybe before they were there because it's just for people to push up a shopping trolley, but now people who need PMDs or need wheelchair access, they're too steep for that. So I think there's a lot more that can be done in that regard. And sometimes when it's done, it's also a bit shoddy lah. But that is not necessarily a town council problem. The other thing that we've noticed is that since COVID has ended, there has been a decrease in foot traffic to our town centres. So especially some of the wet markets during the weekdays, or even on the weekends now, when we talk to the market association, I mean, they tell us and we see for ourselves, like some of the visits we've done. And I think there is a real need to do some rejuvenation of our town centres. It's both because it's harder to get there maybe for some people and people's behaviours change during COVID. But we need to do something to rejuvenate the town centres, bring back more liveliness. And I don't mean just, renovate the thing, make it nicer, but it's about thinking quite clearly what are the factors that draw people into the area based on the demographics that we have now, but also the demographics that we will have 10, 15 years down the road. And make sure that we prepare our town to be able to still be a lively place then.
What is a practical suggestion for
Yeah.
liveling up the place, like Kertaya?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm thinking about like as a someone who can manage the town, you will be able to see, I have this plot of land. What can I do with this plot of land? Now I know that the seniors are like this. Let's make it easier to get to this place, and then develop it into like a senior activity center.
Give us an example in Serangoon North. These are all just over blanket answers. Give me a specific specific example in Serangoon North that you would change.
Why only Serangoon North?
Yeah, why
Because
Serangoon
I'm a
North?
Serangoon North
there.
resident.
No, but I don't know anything about Serangoon North because it's
Miss
for you.
Wei?
Yeah.
If I'm given the opportunity to have reins in the town council to help our residents in Serangoon North, I think I will ask to have more senior activity centres where we can bring the residents together. So currently we have some AACs in areas. We only have 2 right now. One in Serangoon North, one at Avenue 4.
Aging activity.
And it is not enough.
Yeah.
I really am very passionate about bringing seniors together and keeping them engaged. Because nowadays we have seniors who are aging, living longer lives.
And they want to maintain that quality of life. We must be able to have good social interaction, connection, exercise your brain and your body, and really feel purposeful every day. So when we have all these activities that bring neighbors together, they actually feel purposeful. Every day I'll wake up to something to look forward
Mahjong
to.
sessions.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe there's chit-chat coffee session or exercise or helping another neighbor.
Because there are some
Like old
seniors
people
who
blind
don't
dates.
So, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw you under the bus. What is WP not doing that you feel you could do better with senior citizen engagement?
I don't want to talk about WP because really it's not a contest between parties. It's about what we want to do for our residents. So what they want to do, maybe you can ask them. But yeah, for what I want to do, I'm clear. I want to look after our seniors because once we look after our seniors, our sandwich class will also get helped. So imagine
I'm in sandwich class. My mom and dad are older, and my kids are young. So I have to make sure both are healthy and happy, right? So if my parents are not engaged, I'll feel worried every day. Oh, are they okay? You know. But if they're downstairs with our neighbors, you know, then you feel peace of mind.
Yeah.
Then you can continue to work, and that's what our seniors want too. They also want their children to be having peace of mind with them.
Right. I guess the reason why I ask is many who have voted opposition in the last 2 rounds of election that they've been, 3 sorry, would argue that, okay, I'm fine now. Whatever senior engagement I have now is already sufficing for me.
Sure.
We want to know from you what else more. So I guess just saying that, we would like to know the specific details of the manifestos for Aljunied.
She said more centres, what? She said what?
So 3 lah.
Our manifesto states quite a number of things.
Yeah.
Senior care is one, like Adrian.
And I mean, just to add on, just now we mentioned how to make the town livelier.
Yeah.
I think we've been talking about seniors and all this, but our town itself, we also do have a fair share of young families. And I think that in order to make the town livelier, we can actually rejuvenate the infrastructure. For example, your playgrounds for the kids, where the young families, they can actually bring their kids down to play. And many a times, the playgrounds, they are in a very basic condition. If you have been to any other towns itself, you will see that they have a massive playground where the kids will get to expose to many different kinds of water park, sand pit playground, which what we will enjoy when we're young. We don't have. So that is something that we are looking at.
We really don't have.
And with that, right, you can actually have a multi-generational town, right? When you talk about the seniors, they will surely be there. You have the young families, the sandwich class, and the younger ones. So 3 generations, you can stay within different nodal points.
It's definitely very wholesome at that kind of like playgrounds. You can see like
Correct.
Yeah, young and old come
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Can I
the nearest
suggest
water
also-
park is like Bishan, Ang Mo Kio.
Yes, true.
And
Can I
we-
suggest as a multi-generational town that you guys would like to develop that there is a rise of autism among kids in Singapore now, and then there's a rise also of dementia among elderlies. If our towns could be friendly design geared to these kids and elderlies, that would be really lovely.
So I guess importantly, we will actually carry out a town audit once elected. This is very important because we can say we want to have this amenities, that facility, and so and so on. But eventually, the residents, they are the one that are enjoying it. So we need to hear from them what exactly they need, they want. We'll just have to filter out and gather the best proposal, put them together, and this will form the basis of our town plan.
And where I am, I'm looking after Serangoon North and also Serangoon Garden area. So there's a lot of private estates. We're not going to leave them out. We also want to help those in the private estates.
On the multi-generational town note also, right, can I also suggest one more thing? I feel like younger people are not going out to the cities anymore on the weekends to party or spend money. They're all staying inwards. Can we have more utilizing of HDB blocks, right? Where there's cafes
That's a good idea.
like night activities within the
Yeah.
town centers itself. Because I see like there's a rise of HDB cafes, and I think that's kind of cool. It gives young people a chance for businesses and young people spaces to hang around homes for more affordable
So,
costs.
Agree.
so here's it. Living environment is not just about making it nice. It's how do we make it interactive for the communities. So in my area, yes, you're right about young people, but in my area, there are a lot of elderly as well who stay in their homes and don't wish to go out, and they live alone. That's not good, for an aging state, because if for an aging country, for an aging estate, because if they fall sick, or let's say anything happens to them, their neighbors don't know what's going on with them. We cannot physically keep in touch with them. So one of the things I hope to be able to implement or do is to really get our parks to be more interactive, right? Make it more inclusive in the sense that we have, interactive art, things like that, where people can come down,
that
then
would
they
be
can
nice.
engage with they can
Yes.
engage with their spaces,
Yeah.
And this requires a lot of planning. It requires a lot of thinking, a lot of feedback from the ground, what they would like to see. And we have nice, beautiful spaces, engaging spaces where people can come down and do things together as a community, and that will encourage people to come out of their house,
Yeah.
right? And will make the whole place more vibrant and more lively.
I think the good news is also we have a good mix of experience in this, right? So, Hui, Adrian, and myself, we are all from the built environment sector. Adrian, on a very pragmatic level, Hui as well, me maybe more from a policy side. So in terms of being able to understand the sentiments on the ground and planning for them and actually executing, I think we have a very, very strong team to be able to do that. And then on top of that, both Jega and Faisal, they are much more focused on the hardware, right? They both have their own kind of key things that they're advocating for, for healthcare, more equitable healthcare, and for caregivers as well. So I think these things can all come together within the town, and I think residents will definitely benefit now.
Sure.
I just want to ask another Aljunied-based question, I guess. Like, people always say there's this like urban legend that it's if you vote opposition, you won't get like lift upgrades, your town will go to shit, right? How true is that?
True.
It's not true at all. HDB and MND have.
You should just let the urban legend live, bro.
No. So no, we have to be fair also, right? We have to be
Say
fair.
it
If I
as it
may
is.
address that question.
Yeah.
So I'm from Eunos Division, which has about large number of HDB estates.
Yeah.
Our residents are not deprived from neighbourhood renewal programs or home improvement programs. These are funded largely by the PAP government. Yes, and these are policies put in place by the PAP government so that we ensure that our homes continue to be rejuvenated as they age.
Yes, but the onus is
Right.
on the town councillors to put up those requests and those projects.
So if they don't come and request, then the people in charge of the budget will not say, okay,
Yeah lah,
let's
they
take this
must
money.
request
and
Because
do
they
it
didn't
lah.
put it up for them
So
for
you are
approval.
saying that basically now that Pritam Singh is very busy with his damn lawsuit.
We're not saying
probably
anything,
is not
huh?
like too busy to go and put up requests for me, right?
No.
Yeah.
We didn't say that.
Sylvia Lin is your ward
She's,
lah.
she's just
Pritam Singh is Eunos.
I don't care, he's in charge of the whole thing, okay? Yeah, he's like busy fighting lawsuit and everything, whole day meeting with his lawyer.
We didn't say that. We're just answering a question.
Okay, sure. Sure,
process.
okay.
I must also say, as an Aljunied resident, so far my estate is alhamdulillah clean, decent. There are
You just
new-
said there were rats.
There are rats though, but my suspicion of these rats, which I brought up to the Debunking episode, was that they're building the Cross Island line.
Maybe
So
PAP
rats,
is releasing the rats.
rats are you cannot. This kind of thing is defamation, dear.
No way.
Titan Media might have to file against you. But my issues right now are the rats. They're all coming in, I believe, from the construction site.
Maybe.
So far, Aljunied GRC on my side, alhamdulillah, clean, pristine, decent. But okay, I have a question though. You were talking about how some projects are like 5 years span, like ramps, for example. Back then, they were just concerned about pushing trolleys, but now you want to accommodate to PMDs. You guys are in an interesting position, right? Because where the general PAP party would say, vote us for a mandate, we want to continue to remain incumbent. You guys are the reverse. In Aljunied, you guys are hoping to take over the incumbent. How tiring it is, do you guys think it is for the resident that every 5 years we must consider a new leadership, then change can happen or change will happen? It gets exhausting and daunting for the voters.
That's democracy, my friend.
And it's tiring. Why would I give you 5 new
Crazy.
years when I can just give them a chance for 5 more years to fix little things that is left.
Hello? Okay, if you stay at my house, you wouldn't say this.
So Rosie, I will say this. I think we focus a lot of town council issues on very municipal matters, right? Maintenance and all
Yes,
that.
yes.
But ultimately, as leaders, right, we need to have a vision for the community.
That's
What
true.
is the big picture? How do we want to bring our community together? How can we make use of spaces, to unite our community and so on and so forth? And this vision is something which we shared a little bit just now. But the whole essence of democracy is so that if you don't do, you've got 5 years to carry out what you promised to do. If you don't do it in 5 years, you're out. Well, supposed to be lah. That's the whole point, you see. So nobody deserves a free pass. So one of the reasons we are running here, because we really feel we can do a good job, and really it's for Singaporeans or rather Aljunied GRC voters to decide who best can serve their needs, who best they can resonate with. Right? And nobody should be given a free pass.
But it's very gutsy to go against Aljunied because there are two types of voters, I assume. One is someone who is concerned about grassroots matters, clearly, Sashra. And one is someone who is concerned about the policy makers within Parliament.
Yeah.
So the MPs you vote into Parliament matters to them.
Yeah.
You guys are going up against one of the bigger names in opposition.
The biggest name.
Right? Mr. Pritam Singh and his team. So
Well,
why?
I will add that they are going up against us as well, newbies.
Fair, very
Right?
fair, very fair.
Yeah.
But according to the votes
No,
for the
they're
last
definitely
3
the giants
elections,
here.
the correct sentiment to have is you guys are going up against them.
Yeah, definitely.
Now my question for you is, how do you guys convince people who believe that we need strong opposition voices in Parliament? These are the voters that are voting not for grassroots matters, but for MP seats.
Yeah. So, okay. So we are unafraid to speak up, whether it's in public, that will be in Parliament, or in private. We will push for the needs of our residents in all ways, more ways than one. Okay, if you have a WP MP, they can go to Parliament and they can speak about it. We will work the ground, okay, come up with programs, work the town council to provide programs with facilities, and then with your concerns, we won't just talk in Parliament. We will make sure it happens through our private conversations with our leaders, with the government, with as much resources as we can, because we listen and we have the will to action. So I think we're definitely up against the giants, and we are aware of that. It's the hardest fight across Singapore.
Yeah.
And we step forward
There's
because
Marshall
we...
also lah for how.
Yeah, he's
Yes,
also
as well, of course.
Marshall.
Marshall,
Music's favorite.
yes, Marshall for sure, yes.
Yeah.
So we're up against, and we know that, okay? But we hope that the residents won't just look at it as Workers' Party versus PAP, because it's not.
'Cause you will be
It's
their
about
voice
your
too,
lives, it's about your lives, improving your lives.
I guess
Yeah.
his question is more like, what do you say to people who will say, I cannot afford to let WP lose this ward because then there will be no opposition and then PAP can do whatever they
best
want.
kind of
I don't.
opposition.
I don't think there's any danger in that. Every seat has been contested. Okay, now except
Except
Marine
Marine
Parade,
Parade.
which is a surprise to everyone.
Yes.
So every seat is contested. Every contest is not easy. It's a challenge. So I don't think Singaporeans need to be worried that there will be no opposition voices in Parliament anymore, lah. And the opposition has made gains over the last 10, 15 years. So I don't think we're in a position where that is about to reverse.
Right.
So I think that as a person in Aljunied, if you are concerned about the opposition having more voices, you're set. But the other thing is opposition doesn't have to just come from a political party, right?
Yes.
Opposition comes from within. It comes from the social service sector. It comes from NGOs. Actually, the PAP does a lot to listen to what's happening around
These
Singapore
people
on the
that you
ground.
mentioned don't have a voting right, when it comes to parliament matters, NGOs.
But they're voters, lah. And so actually the party does a lot of engagement very often. Sometimes they're more formal, sometimes they're very informal, to get a sense of, okay, on key matters, what are people concerned about?
So it's about active citizenry, right? It's about what you feel should be done, and you don't wait for an MP to tell you that. We're all active citizens. We are telling on the ground, even as not in Parliament, not in NGO, and you want to say something like you just put it on social media. It'll be picked up, and if it concerns more residents, it should be addressed.
I guess if there's just any advice from swing voters of Aljunied is majority of the young millennial ones, not even the Gen Zs yet, right? Because I think they just vote party lines. Majority of us want to be convinced that if we remove the strongest opposition party leader, do we have people that can replace that voice, and I don't think many of them are convinced to remove that part of our parliament.
There will always be NCMPs, you see. So
Not as strong lah.
No,
I mean, Leong
seats for
Man Wai
NCMP?
is just noise. Oh, sorry, what?
wait.
No, but I think that, in my opinion, I think that the residents of Aljunied, they should not be the one that is shouldering this, right? They
Yes.
should not be seen as
Thank you.
shouldering this.
I
But the
shouldn't
strongest opposition.
I
No,
don't
but-
care.
but
I
it's
care about the
within-
state of
it's
my house.
Correct. It's within the party themselves to elect someone to take on this role.
The weight of an Aljunied voter, you like it or not,
Yeah,
Yes.
it is heavy.
it's heavy on
It's
us
heavy,
because
sure.
we will remove the leader of the opposition.
Do not care. You cannot even take care of my house. You can't take care of the country. So
That's so.
At the,
I'm
at the
sorry.
expense of the
I'm
next 5
sorry.
years, that's what you mentioned. You know? So they need to think of their living environment, right? Her house itself. You know,
Yeah.
it should not be the case where.
So we
they're
want to
shouldering this.
assure Terzi and all our swing voters, we are definitely going to be as opposition as you need,
Yes.
because we want to make sure your voices are heard.
Promise, ah?
Promise.
And
I will watch you every parliament. She seems easy only on the government now.
But and don't forget the term leader of the opposition. It was given to him by the PAP.
Yes.
anyways, yeah, back
And it
to
need
what
not
I
be
just said. I just
Aljunied.
said, like, I just want to say that my quote is very good, right? Is it not? If you can't take care of my house, how do you take care of the whole country? Does it make sense or not? It's such a small area. You can't take care of that small area. Why should I let you be in charge of being the opposition voice for the whole country? You can't even do a small thing. I expect you to do a big thing. Like,
I
I'm
really need
sorry.
Pritam to sit down
It
with
is
her.
true.
Yeah, I know. It'd be great. You guys should have it.
Yeah.
That's not for us to
That's what
answer.
you
That's
can't
not for
call
us
us
to
selfish
answer.
just because you're not taking care of our estate, what?
Yeah.
It's a representation of what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
deserve
fair.
to be cared for, yes.
Yeah.
We have less than 15 minutes to wrap up,
Yes.
but I kind of want to have your sentiment on what is currently developing with since nomination day. There's
Yeah.
been so many cartoons. I am so sorry. There's been so many cartoons. Very, very little commendable opposition candidates, I might say.
Okay.
Why do you think we don't have enough credible opposition voices out there?
What do you think?
It's a question I ask you.
No, ask you back.
You see, can I share my point on this?
Yes, sir.
I think we have to respect every Singaporean,
Yeah.
right? When you say credible opposition, right? What is credible?
Someone with rigor, someone with, when they present
Yes.
themselves, they don't, I look left, look right.
That's
look
what-
left, look right. I don't care where you look, sir.
That's what you think, but when they run, they may still get 10-15% of the votes.
Oh dear.
Right.
Maybe some
So-
people like this kind.
Yeah, so
More relatable.
Every Singapore matters, every vote matters, and
Yeah.
Singapore belongs to everyone. So it's not, if we want more opposition, we cannot choose what kind of opposition we want. We have to accept that it's an open
Whoever steps forward
democracy.
lah.
Whoever
Sometimes I
wishes
feel
to
like
run
you guys
can run.
planted them just to have a stronger hold with the voters. Like, look at the clowns that
Oh,
we all will
yes.
vote otherwise.
Yes.
That's why Pritam is such a darling to the Aljunied voters. What's your game on social to win the young voters though? Because I must be honest, I don't think anyone knows how to handle social media as political candidates. I feel like people are taking it like as if they are Singapore Idol auditions.
Right.
And
Correct, you're
it's
right.
cringe to watch.
Yeah.
You guys are supposed to be voted as leaders. I do not care what song you know how to sing or what
Yes,
silat number you know how to do. Honestly, the only person who I've studied so far who does it well is Marshall Lim. You all should watch Marshall
Yeah,
Lim's
it's great.
Yeah.
Instagram. I've been trying to study you guys. I rate you guys a 7 out of 10.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
As a
I really
group,
like that.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not trained to be a social media
Yeah,
influencer
all
like
of
like
us
you
are not.
guys.
Yeah.
And I think if you have any tips, we're more than happy to take them on.
I don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
like how like WP does it in the past, right? Like with James, he's like what was
Heartland
it?
Darling lah.
Heartland Darling, what
He goes
handsome
with
ah.
the cockles of the hearts.
He just sounds
But they're
nice.
very clinical, so their Instagram also have notes. I have notes for every party.
Okay. Then like
You should
how,
do a
like,
you should do like a blog or a vlog on
Breakdown
this.
of-
Yeah.
I will.
Okay, so like how like Raisha, for example, when she was voted in, a lot of people love her, make posters of her. All wrong, by the way. Like, cause she's like feminist, she will help fight for like racial like rights of the minority. So like, are you guys planning to do that? Like you know, like oh I'm the pets person, or like oh I'm the healthcare guy.
Wow.
What are your activism? I
Yeah.
guess is the
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
She wants to know.
So we all have our champion causes, but we also want to champion causes for our residents. So while we start with the ones that we know, that we've met with our residents with, and if we're given the chance to be in Parliament, we'll certainly reach out to reach more. So I think it's not something we want to characterize ourselves and mold it as, oh, I'm only involved, I'm going to champion this cause. It has to be everyone. Everyone needs to be cared for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how to up our game, maybe you can guide us, because we want to be, actually, we're just us.
Yeah.
We're just ordinary
So there's
Singaporeans.
many things that you're very passionate about.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so we have mentioned some, like in our manifesto, all of us have our
So what is it?
champions. So mine's for seniors. I'm also very much into mental wellness. I feel that mental wellness is very key.
That is very
not
important.
not enough has been done. Actually, the government is trying to do, but it needs to be much more put together, consolidated, so to make it happen. Because most of the time when I visit houses, when it's family problems, it comes from somewhere, mental wellness issues.
Definitely,
Yeah.
for sure.
So and then you see the young ones, many more committing suicide. It's really, really sad. So
A lot of people
mental
suicide.
wellness is one of the things I'm also passionate about. And of course, nurturing youth. They are our future generation. Yeah, Daniel has got his, yes.
For me, you know, because of my professional background, and being in the community volunteer for so long, I do see there are things we can do at a national level to improve our built environment. You know, there's going to be a lot of changes in Singapore with Paya Lebar Air Base moving and Southern Marina Waterfront coming up. But even implementing of housing estates, right? I personally feel that more can be done in the way we design our public housing to integrate better into community amenities. For one reason or another, there's been some changes in the way housing estates have been built. They're really nice and beautiful, but I think they can be integrated better. You know, I can share more on a much longer podcast. It's very boring.
No, wait, but so you have your father's talent in this?
No, I don't have a planning talent. I grew up with cities, right? I grew up in a household that was interested in cities, and of course that kind of rubbed off on me, but I don't look at it from a design perspective. I think about it from a systems perspective. Again, that's a very nerdy way of saying it.
Yeah.
But you know, if you think about a city, it's not just one thing, right? You have transport networks, you have housing, you have the economy, you have migration, and all of these things are interlinked, you know, through a very complex, like, you know, complexity science kind of approach. And so in Singapore, what they have done is map out these things very clearly against not just what Singapore will happen, not just the way Singapore will go in 5-10 years, but 20-30 years. So our built environment is supposed to be something that is resilient to trends, and trends that we may not know yet. And I think we can do better for our private housing. We can do better for our housing estates, and also, like, once the housing estates are built, I think there can be improvement. My own experience on the ground is there can be improvement in the way amenities are rolled out. So I hope to bring that experience in. But aside from that, you know, I guess some people know now I was a club DJ when I was younger.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I
Yes,
played at
oh my
Zouk
God.
twice. That was the highlight of my life. But you know,
So the highlight of your life is not sitting here right now. talking
until
about-
I came here, sorry. But to be honest, yeah, when I was I played 2 gigs at the old Zouk. That was
Two
you know.
gigs is not a DJ lah.
No, I played other places.
You got play meh, DJ?
No, I played other places, but I was lucky. That was
That was
like
the peak of your career.
I was not. Yeah, I was peak. I was
So
not very
Paikia
good.
last time, is it?
No, not Paikia.
Now still Paikia a bit.
No,
Joking.
So I do understand what it's like to maybe some people have passions that they feel they aren't able to pursue, and you know.
Please
for
don't
me,
make more people pursue DJing. That's terrible.
oh, if they want to, why not?
No,
nemesis
because
are
it's like
DJs.
Paikias.
Her nemesis are DJs.
They're very noisy, number one. Okay, they encourage a not good lifestyle of drinking and partying.
Yeah,
number two,
yeah.
and most of the time they are druggies. So
Okay, well,
there you go.
oh, that's not good. That's not
Jada,
good.
what champion?
Okay. So, as you know, my name can be also pronounced as Jaga.
Oh, Jaga,
Right.
yeah.
So
Like
Jaga
Jaga
actually
P.
means like
Take care.
Yeah. So I'm really passionate about caregivers because as a caregiver myself, I feel that you need to be able to support them so that they can support the seniors, children, and people with, like, you know, disabilities or special needs as well.
Are you talking about like nurses, like helpers, all these?
Caregivers.
What do you mean by caregivers?
So caregivers as in like yourselves.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so you
People
could
who take
be-
care of their family.
Yes, families, children, and so forth.
Elderly.
They go through a lot of stresses in their life.
I do. I need
and-
more tax relief for that. I do get a tax relief for that,
which
right?
we have,
Yes.
and we can do more.
Okay.
Yeah, so I also feel that mental health is also important, so that they can build
Yes.
the emotional resilience. When they are healthy, then they can actually do more for the people that they care. Another area that I'm passionate about is due to my profession in NTUC. I champion for workers.
Aunties lah.
And
No.
Hi, Memo.
Workers.
Are you Memo?
and one of the areas that I'm now currently championing is creative freelancers like
Yes.
myself.
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so if you
Photographers, videographers.
Yes. So I
Go
really
ready, ah?
am a bit biased.
Swing ready,
Like,
ah?
I really need him to go into and become an MP because he's going to help fight for the rights of freelancers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got an issue about
So
the
we
bank
need to-
giving you less loan because you are self-employed. Him.
I'll
Go to
watch
him.
for you.
All right, okay, so for mine, right, I champion for multi-generational households because I myself, I benefited from it. I'm staying with my dad and I have my kids with me. So that's where this comes into, the infrastructure comes into the picture. So I think we can do more for the special needs kids also, whereby there'll be centers that we can have at the void decks, which is nearby. You know, the elderly, they can just bring their grandchildren down to the centers and enjoy the facility there. On top of that, I guess in terms of facilities like the playgrounds, like what you mentioned just now, you know, we can actually do a bit more to make it more exciting for our children, for our kids to enjoy, so that to expose them to all this, you know, different kinds of facilities for them to grow in this area. So that's basically where I'm coming from in that sense.
So multi-general meaning like what? But the houses are not big enough for so many
Correct.
people.
So as I mentioned,
Generational.
it's nodal. It can be your parents stay in this block and you stay just the next block, and it's just a phone call away for help in that
So
sense.
nearby lah.
How
Yeah.
about your appeal for more jumbo flats to be made? I think they are nice. Why are they
No more
stopped?
space there.
Why It's just 2-3 flats next to each other.
But some people want their own space, you know.
Correct. Yeah.
So some people prefer to live nearby
so
but not
happened,
together.
I mean, this morning I met a family and they were saying to say that they wanted their own space, and their parents, they're staying with their parents, and it's very difficult for them to procreate in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So they say, can we therefore, you know,
TFR
get a house and soon? So I says, can, you know, you just put in your application and we see how it goes. It should be quite fast with the ramping up of the HDBs and things like that.
So they want a BTO.
Yes, they want a BTO so that this will allow them to start a family soon.
Procreate
Yeah.
for the layman is a piak piak.
Yeah.
Oops, I got to be politically correct.
But Ahmad, what do you mean? They're different rooms, why cannot?
Because, okay, they did
Some people are
mention
allowed,
the
yeah.
HDB walls now is a bit thinner. Yeah, so it's not so
It's
much
just the
soundproof.
It's
privacy.
actually
Yeah, the
possible
privacy.
to do it quietly.
All right.
I mean,
Okay, let's move on to
Okay,
Faisal.
let's move on. I have my experience, but let's move on.
The 5 kids.
Dr.
I've got 5
Faisal.
kids.
Okay,
Yeah,
before
he's
you
got-
answer
How
your
many
champion.
you have 5
Faisal.
kids.
Yes, I do have 5 kids.
Oh my God, that is
Yes.
crazy.
Dr.
Thank
Faisal,
you
before,
so much
before
for
I move
increasing
on
the birth
to
rate.
championing causes that you are passionate about, you, I guess, are the rep here, Malay representing, right?
Yes.
Which is interesting because they've removed their Malay leader from the alternate lineup. How would you convince the Malay voters? Because I guess now they're voting for 2 new Malay facing, or Malay Muslim. Muslim, I guess, at best, right? Because when they see you, they would think Indian passing.
And cannot be the name the same, yeah. You know, they confuse.
Yeah.
They see
Yes,
Faisal or
yes,
WP,
yes.
then vote.
Yeah, and then he look like Pritam some more. Hey, no, it's Pritam and Faisal.
How problematic, yeah?
Hey, take him out!
I am made for Aljunied, no
Yes,
choice.
yes.
Yes.
You are really tailor-made, really.
So how do you
Yes.
think you can speak to the Malay voters in Aljunied?
So I think at the end of the day, it's really the Malay voters, right? Especially, I think it's all about connection. You know, if you know them well, you know the machi pachi and all that, and they like you and you're respectful, I think they will trust you, right? I have the advantage of being there for 10 years. I know all of them. I have the opportunity of meeting many of them, especially during our Ramadan engagements recently, and I heard many of their concerns. I understand what their needs are, what their you know, in terms of their daily worries and so on and so forth. I think in terms of convincing them, it's really about me connecting with them, and I hope I've done that well. And I hope just based on that, they'll be, not just based on that, it's a very important thing, that they will be convinced to vote me and convinced that I'm best able to represent their views rather than someone whom they may not be so familiar with. Right? Yeah.
Can I just say also, in town centres, right, there are not enough halal food spots that are healthy.
agree.
Unfortunately,
Agree.
a lot of halal options
Yes.
are usually unhealthy. And I, as a caregiver for my mom, I'm always watching what she eats. And it doesn't help that she goes down and she eats just the oiliest, grubbiest
Okay,
halal food.
if there is healthy halal food, would she eat it?
I will force her.
Yes.
Trust me, that's what happens at home.
So food spots very interesting, which brings me to my topic, which I care about, right? Which is active aging and healthy living, right? So that is something I really want to encourage. The thing about active aging is that everybody thinks it's only for elderly, But active aging is for all of us,
Everyone, yeah.
right? Even very young people like Xia Shui as well, huh?
Thank you.
You're welcome, right? Because we will all age, okay? And health screenings, health prevention exercises are very important, and it's something we need to reduce inequalities in health. That means we need to reduce barrier to access to health. There's a very technical term, but basically we need to make it more accessible for people to get health screenings done. At a more convenient, cheaper, easier, better and faster. Right?
Cheap halal salads is all I'm asking
Cheap,
for.
yes. Well, that's
Your mother would
look.
not eat.
Okay.
You seem very entrepreneurial. Start business lah.
busy,
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
we can encourage it, but at the end of the day, these are our businesses, right? If there's no demand, let's say 1 or 2 people wants it, the demand is low and all that, then it'll be more difficult. But I think individually we can make choices to eat healthier food. We can ask for less salt, healthier options, and so on and so forth.
What is a less salt prata?
Well,
Less oil prata.
get the
Dosai
healthier
lah.
option now at the shop, right?
Less
So
salt.
the best balance,
That goes back to my point, right? I think a lot of us, we don't get the taste right. Then we don't want tak show, then we tak makan, right? Then we avoid it, then we end up going back to our unhealthy options. Right? It's okay to eat roti prata and fish curry, but maybe not every day. Reduce, try and, if you can, cook more at home, right? If you have concerns, there are always healthier options. I think one of the issues is that, and myself included, right? I'm not so well versed. We don't really know which is a healthier option, so how can we vary our diets to make it more healthier? I think there's a knowledge gap in that, and I hope that's something we can close up our bridge in times to come.
Yes.
All right, thank you. That's been a very fruitful conversation. Miss Yasha, any other complaints, comments, concerns?
Praises.
You've done it now. The next best thing is just to bring Pritam on board, right?
I like this team. Please vote them in. My God.
But thank you so much for coming down.
Thanks so much.
As
Thank
a
you.
swing
Thank you very
voter,
much.
what I dare confirm say is you won my heart.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
it's a lot. I will
Yeah,
follow up on
yeah.
the rest of the election. At the end of the day, I'm also still concerned that such a strong voice might be removed from Parliament. So
Absolutely.
we will see how Team Aljunied fare. Good luck, guys.
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Great success.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.